Hey, welcome to this episode of the Movement Mentality Podcast. I have a really good friend of mine on the show. I am so excited to share him with you. His name is Matt, and we have been friends since 2010 or 11.
Yeah,
I
at least that
feel
long.
like
Yeah.
I at least 2011, I know for sure, and it could possibly be 2010. So, um, what a wild decade and a half.
It has been a journey.
That is actually really scary to say out loud. So, Matt, welcome to the show. You're like a religion major from Pepperdine turned IT course creator, instructor, wizard, business owner. What? That is
Yeah,
crazy.
all of the above, all of the above. And thanks for having me. Like, I'm super excited to be here. If I do feel like you were kind of stalking me though, a little bit.
When I knew that, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. But
Well,
you've
yeah,
known
I'm
me
your friend.
forever.
I've known you a long time, and I listen. I actually listen when
That's
people
true.
talk.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's actually kind of a curse, I think, in some ways.
yeah,
And then I ruminate actually and think about things even more. Like I should have said this and that, and like that person doesn't even remember that conversation, but I script it all out. And that's my weird thing is like I do what I do for a living, but like I don't have body pain,
hmm
but I have a lot of issues between the ears.
Cognitive loops that never stop.
Cognitive loops, I mean, it's my thing, right? Like I can't watch TV or movies, and I have sleep issues, and but okay, but my body feels incredible. I don't know which one's better. So
Right.
but yes, in a creepy way, I will remember the way that you move, anything you've ever said about your body. I'll know when you start sniffling or coughing even before
Yep.
you do,
Yeah,
all the things.
for sure.
But your name, not you specifically, but names I'm really bad at.
hmm
But I'll remember all the other little details.
Yeah,
Names, no. Mm-mm.
yeah. Names are my superpower. I can go through
Wow.
a room of 100 people in class and they all introduce themselves, say their name once, and I'll remember it like forever.
No.
Forever. Yep.
That
I
is
mean,
so
it's kind of
annoying.
crazy. My wife thinks I'm insane and it drives her nuts that I can do that. But she's always like, hey, what's their name? Who's that
What's their
person?
name?
Yeah.
So how do you have like a system like they get paired with a thing, or is it just your photographic memory? Like is it their
Yeah,
face?
first of all, I don't know where it came from, but I feel grateful and blessed that I do have a really good memory. Like even learning neurology, it's like I hear something one time and it sticks. Um, I can't explain it. I can't take credit for it. Like I did not build that skill, but if I hear it, it hangs in there. But with names were a little bit challenging at the beginning. I was teaching these classes that had 50 to 100 people, and I just felt kind of embarrassed if I didn't know someone's name after a whole day of having them in class. So I did work on that, but I primarily did it through repetition. So while people are talking and introing themselves, I would be mentally going back through the row, repeating everyone's name who had gone before. So by the time I get to the 50th person, I've said those other people's names multiple times inside my own head just to reinforce the learning. But that probably I spent a couple years doing that in classes. And once I had laid down the groundwork for those neural pathways, like it just clicked. And so these days, I don't really have to work on it that much. It sticks.
Wow. I
So
mean, I'm very jealous. I mean, it's a miracle. But I mean, it's cool to hear that you had to work at something to remember. You
yes,
it's
I
if
am
I
human.
yes, if I have two examples of like people that have really annoying memories in a funny way, like you and my friend Anna.
hmm
She's the same way. She can see a slide one time and have the whole thing memorized. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Both of you, just you're grounded, you're timeout, okay? Because I am a super slow learner and I have to like feel it and then say it out loud 100 times and then touch someone and then ask them what they heard me say, and it's like a whole thing. So I feel like I have to work like 100 times harder to just be like satisfactory.
But is that more like didactic learning and like lectures and facts and figures? Like if we were learning choreography, you would run circles around me, right? Like as a
Right, because
kinesthetic
it's like a
learner,
body.
yeah,
Yeah.
like body movement, you are more likely to like see it, do it once, you got it. I would be practicing a single line of choreography like 50 times and I would still screw it up,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, true, true. There's I do have something in there. Okay, yeah. So there is a skill I have. Yeah. But also that took whatever, 400,000 hours of
Yeah, it took years,
training, right?
right? Yeah.
So I can't say that came easily, like I come from an era of where this is maybe why I danced well my whole career, is because how I had to learn it was VHS, hit play, then hit pause for 2 counts, right? One and
Yeah,
two, and then rewind, hit play again. I mean, now kids just like slide a
right.
bar, and I'm just like, all of you just go beep yourselves. Like it's the way I had to learn was so like prehistoric. Um, but that's how I learned. So it's so thorough
Yeah.
because of the depth that you had to go to learn choreography. Um, So, anyways, we're on a tangent. I love it, but yeah, I love bringing up you and Anna, because I'm just like, well, I have two very close friends that I could ask pretty
Are
much
very
anything
annoying.
to. They're very annoying. I know that they'll know the answer because they learned it one time, and me, I'm like, hold on, what? Okay, what course did I? Okay, what year was that? Um, so you live in Arizona, which
Yep.
is great because now I
Yep.
get to see you more. And where did you live before that? I
I was
can't
in
remember.
Malibu, California for 10 years,
Oh,
right? So I
yeah.
went to Pepperdine, did my undergrad, did my master's degree there. I'm like, didn't really have a lot of direction at that point because even though I finished the master's, I was like, I don't really want to go into the career that goes along with it. So
Hmm.
I'm like, well, I might as well stay in Malibu. Like, it's beautiful, live right by the beach. So I ended up getting a job at the university just so that I could hang around. Like, I don't know what I want to
Mm.
do. I don't know where I want to go. So let's just get a job here. So I was there for 10 years, right in Malibu and Calabasas and Santa Monica. And
Fancy
then,
pants.
yeah, it was fancy. It was way out of my budget, but as a struggling student, you do what you can. You work three
Hmm.
jobs, so you can pay your rent. And then I moved to Phoenix in 2010. So
Okay.
been here for 15 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
That's incredible. I mean, I'm in year 3 and I'm like learning the tools of the trade, like with the heat and figuring out where we go every summer type of thing. But
yeah. How do we get out of this heat?
yeah, how do we get out of this? And then I starting to, I'm in my third year and I'm like, okay, mid-August is when I start to get pretty irritated. Like I'm
Yeah, you
I'm
get
like,
tired of it.
I'm starting
Yep.
to get irritable.
Yeah.
So, we're going to Alaska in 2 weeks.
Hey, there you go.
I was like
Congratulations.
looking up cold weather. Like I want to wear a jacket and
Yeah,
pants.
yeah. Our friends just
So
left town to
okay.
go to Montana, so I'm a little jealous.
Oh,
But
oh, Montana's on my list. But they don't have direct flights out of here, so um okay, so now so you have your own business now, and when did you start Next Level Neuro?
2018 is when it began. I was still working for Z Health at the time. So
Mhm.
when I started Next Level Neuro, it was only so that I had the opportunity to see one-on-one clients, kind of a side hustle, side gig.
Okay.
Um, the owners at Z Health were always gracious enough to let us take one-on-one clients on our own time. And
Mm.
so I had done that for years, but I started the company because I wanted to have it, be a little more official and build it up to something. But I built it completely with the intention of it just being a one-on-one training company.
Wow.
And so, like, that was 2018. I ended up leaving Z Health in 2019. Um, 2020, COVID hits, it's the years that
Mhm.
everyone lost. And then 2021, I got connected with a colleague now, who works with us, but we were connected through another coach. I was working with other companies to develop curriculum for them that had to do with neurology. So there was a mindset coaching company that had contacted us and said, we have this great mindset coaching program. It's amazing. We know that it works, but we don't understand the neurology of why it works. So would you be willing to come in and create this 12-week course for our participants and our coaches that teaches them the neurology of mindset coaching and actually explain why our program works so well? Like, that sounds fun, right?
Yeah.
So I basically kind of
The
downloaded.
science of why my program is freaking awesome.
Yeah, yeah, legit. That's what they wanted,
Wow, I
right?
love this.
Like, yeah, I can explain it. So I download their program, go through that, do the research, bring them this course of information of like, well, here's the neurology of what you're doing that you didn't know you're doing. Right?
And
Everything's
your
neurology.
section of it is 12 weeks?
Yeah, it was a 12-hour program. So we did,
Okay.
actually, it was 90 minutes a week. So
Okay.
whatever that is, like 18 hours of
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
education
cool.
for them.
Cool.
But we ran it over like a 12-week period of time, live coaching, live teaching, Q&A, all that cool stuff. Anyway, one of the guys who was like a VP or executive in that company, he had been in the training world for almost 30 years, owned multiple training businesses, an integrated clinic with like therapy and personal training and wellness all under one roof. But he like really has a heart for personal training and strength and conditioning. And he's like, dude, no one in the personal training or strength and conditioning world is talking about neuro. I'm like, I know. He goes, you got to teach this. I'm like, I have been for the last 10 years. He's like, no, but you got to teach it like your own program. Like, he goes, yeah, I know you taught for another company, but like, you got to do your own thing. I have these connections. We can market this. Like, you need to just rebuild your own deal and like teach it to trainers. And this guy would not leave me alone. I was like,
I love
okay.
it.
I mean, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, yes, there's a need in the market, there's a need in the industry. I was like, I don't know if I want to get back into education right now. Like, I was a little burnt out from teaching and traveling. Anyway, perseverance won the argument, and he did not ever go away. So he's now one of our primary team members partnering with us at Next Level Neuro. Thank you, Chris, by the way. I'm not, ragging on you if you happen to listen to this podcast. So he's like, if you basically, he asked me a question. He's like, if you had to take a trainer or a strength and conditioning specialist who had zero previous experience in neurology, he goes, how long would it take you to turn them into an awesome neuro practitioner? And I was like, give me a year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how would you do it? I'm like, well, I would build a mentorship. It would be hands-on, practical, weekly installments of learning. So we're connected throughout the whole year. It's just teach it from the ground up. And he's like, can you build that? Like, yeah, so that's how the Next Level Neuro actually became an education company. Like, the prompting of one dude who I randomly was connected with from this other company that wanted some help. Like, it's the whole butterfly flaps its wings and
Yeah.
there's a hurricane on the other side of the planet. Chris was the catalyst. And so NLN has become primarily an education company where the mentorship is our primary offering. It's our bread and butter. And like, we've expanded beyond trainers, and we work with physical therapists and occupational therapists and chiropractors and hands-on practitioners. But it's taking people who don't have a lot of background in neuro, or maybe maybe they've done a 12-week class or a 4-hour intro, but they don't know what to do
Mhm.
with it.
Mhm.
And it's about empowering them and equipping them so that after 1 year, they're ready to step into the world as like a fully fledged neuro practitioner to work with their clients.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah,
What a how cool is that? Like one guy and now you have like this whole business.
yeah, it's wild, and it's such like serendipity and that I always wanted to teach. Like teaching is my jam. It's my
Mhm.
drive and my passion. Like I can trace this common thread back through every career job that I've had, and like they all revolve around teaching. Like I thought I wanted to go into academia. I went into IT, but I was actually teaching within IT. Went into communication, but I was teaching in communication, and then got into neurology. And so at the end of the day, neurology, this might be a little bit like blunt, but neurology was just a means to an end for me. Because, like, personally, the internal drive behind Matt was I want to teach. I want to see people, their eyes light up, that light bulb goes off in their head. You're like, wow, that's so cool. And at the end of the day, I didn't really care what I was teaching, it didn't really matter. I wanted that feeling.
Yeah.
But when I
That
found neurology and had my own personal experience with it, I was like, okay, there's something huge here that nobody knows about, and everybody needs to know about it, right? And so it was like a perfect match to go, this is something I can really dig my teeth into. I can spend a lot of time with, kind of immerse myself in it for the next 10, 20 years of my career, and have the fulfillment of actually teaching, to bring that to other people.
yeah, I mean it's incredible, right? Like you can't get away from it cuz you love it, you're good at it. You can remember everything, so it's easy for you.
Uh,
And but also you also have a talent for like graphics and making workbooks look beautiful and slides. And so you also have this other like skill set that you've taught yourself to make the learning stick.
yeah,
I've seen your workbooks. Like it's like, how did he do that? And you're like, oh, I just went like this,
yeah.
you know,
Just wave my
and
magic wand.
just went like this, and Ryan's like that as well. Like he when I show him like my PowerPoint, he's like, okay, because it'll just be like words,
Yeah,
you know, and I under like I know my role, right? Like in a funny way, it's like I'm the talent, right? Like I didn't say I could make nice PowerPoints.
right.
So he takes my PowerPoints and like fixes them and the workbook is all him. Like 100% not me. Um, but I don't have that skill.
Mhm.
Kind of, like in tiny little ways. But so okay, so 2000 um 19, 20, okay, 21. So it's been 4 years since you've been
Yeah,
doing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. 4 years.
So in the 4 years, how do you I don't know why this question's coming up, but it just is. But how do you deal with anyone that says to you, well, like, you're not a medical professional, you're not a doctor. How do you have a right to be telling me to work on my cranial nerves and my brainstem and all like what do you say to that and how does it affect you?
Yeah, it's kind of one of my favorite questions that I get.
Oh, okay. You're like lit up right
I'm like,
now.
let's
Yeah.
go, right? Because, okay, there's a backstory here. So I'm going to tell a little story, right? So, 2011, I started teaching neuro, professionally, like in front of a class. Um, I had probably been teaching about 5 years. This is probably about 2016 when this happened. One of the individuals who had gone through some of the neuro classes kind of before me and concurrently at the same time I was learning in my first round of education, he had gone on to take and do a chiropractic degree, so become a doctor, right? DC.
Mhm.
Went on to do a neurology diplomate program, became a functional neurologist by title,
Mm-hmm.
And he happened to pop into one of like a Facebook thread, or I think that's what it was. I think it was on Facebook at the time. And we were teaching like vision drills and cranial nerves. And he came back into this Facebook post and he started writing these comments about how, you guys shouldn't be doing this. It's dangerous. You're not a medical professional. Like, you shouldn't be teaching people how to do these drills and those drills. And I got really offended. Like, I was pissed. I'm like, dude, you came through this program. Like,
This is how you got started.
this is where you started, right? For one. And how respectfully we treat this material and our clients. Like, this is not a fly by night organization, right? They're just trying to scam people or do something dangerous. We're so intentional, and we use a reassessment process and a minimal effective dose that's way more detailed than any doctor that you're going to run into, right? Like, I can't believe this guy's saying this stuff. And so that kind of became the catalyst for one of my trademark lines, which is like, everybody has a brain and they need to know how to use it. Like, there is no education on this, there is no manual. And I don't think learning how to use your brain should be reserved for people who can get a medical degree that costs $500,000 so they can wear a white lab coat and tell you what is going on inside your head. That's complete BS. Like, everybody needs access to this information. Everybody needs to learn it. Like, there's so much value here and there's so much transformation that's possible. I mean, my wife Kathy is the one who kind of coined the term that neuroscience is the science of hope. Like, it's the one science that tells us things can actually change. You're not stuck. You're not fixed as you currently are. The game is not over, right? Like,
Yeah.
how can
I
we
have
not
goosebumps.
tell people about this, and actually coach them on how to improve these systems and how they really work? Like, of course, I'm not a medical provider. I don't want to be. You know how much red tape you have to go through to not only become a medical provider, but to actually treat people in a neurological setting to avoid the complications of insurance and all of the medical prerequisites and all of the guidelines and boundaries. And I'm not against those things when they're necessary, because they are in place for a reason. I happen to think most of the reason is to cover their own butts, but they're there for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
to protect people. But when you have implemented an assessment process and a dosing process that is even more specific than the medical industry, I don't think that is like subject to the same level of criticism. Like, I think we've actually gone above and beyond what the medical system does when we're teaching people and helping them to understand. So, like, I don't want to go through the red tape. I want to be able to help real people in the real world. And I would much rather we locate ourselves firmly in that training and coaching world, right? It's like, I'm not a medical provider. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to diagnose you. I'm not going to treat you. I'm not going to do brain surgery on you, no matter how much you want me to. That's not my role, right? What I am going to do is actually teach you about your brain, how it works, and how to train it when it begins to decline or show deficits, so that you don't have to go through the normal quote unquote aging process. You don't have to go through the decline that many people do. And you won't be subject necessarily to the standard medical world. It gives you the opportunity to kind of rise above all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't want to be in the medical world. I want to be in the training and coaching world. I get to spend more time with my clients. I get to actually educate them on stuff, and how the brain works. I catch problems before they become serious problems so we can head off issues. And like, the final note that I usually make is, I'm like, look, you're all doing neurology all the time anyway. You just don't know what you're doing. You don't know how or why the brain is
Yeah.
integrated with the work that you're already doing. If you just understood it, you would know that all of us are doing neurology and training neurology all day, every day of our lives. So let's train it intentionally rather than by accident, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Thank goodness I'm not in the medical world. And don't, please, this is to my medical friends.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for the medical world. It's a life-saving system. That's great. I just hate the gatekeeping that happens of, oh, no, no, you can't learn this, you can't use this because it's medical knowledge. Like, I'm sorry, everybody has a brain. Like, let's all get on the same
Yeah.
page of how we can actually use that, right?
Yeah. It's an interesting time to be in business, right? Because everything's accessible. If you have 20,000 followers, now 20,000 people heard what you said, whatever, and it's so I get like one trollish kind of comment thing that like really gets me like about once a year now.
Hmm.
It used to happen more when I was less confident and didn't word things as eloquently and younger and all the things, right? I've been posting online since 2011 consistently, like for real, right? And so now it's like now I have a ground to stand on and all the things. But about once a year something gets me, right? And recently someone screen recorded a video I posted because I don't allow remixes and then proceeded to say, I have two PhDs. I'm a doctor. You should not listen to someone who is not licensed online. All these reasons why I'm dangerous and I have no right to say what I'm saying. And I'm just like baffled, right? Especially because the post I did was it was literally like, hey, if you had period cramps, here's what I would try.
Yep.
Child's pose, low back skin stimulation, and smell. Like, and I'm very like explorative and inquisitive and like, hey, what do you think I'm missing in this? What would you do if for a client with period cramps? Like I'm very so and I'm just like so I'm not I can't say child's pose and low rub your low back because I'm not a doctor. Like it was just I wasn't like, I am an expert in this system and you must do these things. Like I just was like thinking out loud, eating while I'm talking. Like it
Right.
was
Yeah.
just a whole thing. So people went to bat for me and then other people were like, this chick's crazy. Who does she think she is? And and I would totally be lying if I say it didn't get to me, right?
Yeah.
Because it did. Most of them don't. But once a year I get one where I'm like, "Oh, I can't sleep. Do I write back? Do I say something? Do I get my posse on her? Like like what do I do? And then I
Yeah.
just, I have this thing where like my relationship to God is growing and I go block and bless
Right.
and I just block her, I bless her, and I'm like, how many doctorates do you need to feel that what you're saying is valuable? Like, why do
Yeah.
you need three?
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
obviously if you're spending your time posting stuff like that, that just shows exactly where you are
Yeah.
in your
Well,
you know.
it kind of reminds me of like several years ago, maybe from the 2016 to 2020 era. I spent a lot of time learning marketing and studying, especially with Brendan Burchard, those who know him.
Mhm.
And he used to tell his story. He's like, your best marketing comes from your loudest critics, and like he had published a book about like is part memoir, part personal development. And someone went on the Amazon page for the book and they wrote this scathing criticism review of like, do you think just anybody can write their life story and everyone else on the planet is going to find value in it and blah, blah, blah? Just ripped it to shreds. And Brennan's like, I took that quote and I turned it into my marketing material. And he shows the next screenshot of his marketing and he's like, your story is valuable. You need to share it with the world. Because like inside of him, there's this deep belief like, yes, there's value in your story, right? Yes, you should be sharing your voice to the world. Of course you should. You are a unique, human on this planet and you have value to share. So like the loudest criticism becomes the message. I was like, that's kind of it. It reminded me of the same thing I'd gone through. Like, Mr. Doctor is saying, you can't do this, you're not a doctor. And I'm saying, well, I think everyone should do this, especially the people who are not doctors. So it's
Right.
like,
Or don't have access to a doctor, or don't have what,
yeah,
I don't know, or
yeah. And
doctors.
it's just like, that person who commented on yours is like, yeah, the whole point is you don't need a PhD in order to help relieve some of the discomfort that comes with a monthly period. Like, there are things you can do, you
Yeah, that
know,
are really, really simple and
really
free.
easy. Yeah,
And I learned them from like an acupuncturist,
right.
like child's pose, the way that it does in your abdomen and whatever. And I would like, I remember listening to her being like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I'm going to use that,
there you go.
and it's not like I made any of this up. It is something I learned. So
Yeah,
the whole thing, I'm not like, I created this amazing, never done before thing. I had one girlfriend who is a doctor. She was like, this is the problem. Like, we have great grandmothers who invented medicine, and then someone was like, I'm taking your medicine and you need a license to give it to people. And the great great grandmother's like, what? I've been doing this in my family for 10 generations. What do you mean you're going to take it from me and now I need a license to tell? Like, it's like, what?
yeah,
So it's just a really, I was really interested to hear what you would do in this scenario. Like I said, a long time ago, it would like knock me out, but now it's just like I block and bless, I move on. Um, but
yeah,
I did ask a lot of my peers in the beginning, like, how do I handle this? What do I do? And most people are just like, delete and move on.
right.
And then what's even more amazing is like, if you're just so busy and so successful and have so many amazing comments, like, oh my gosh, this helped me so much. You're amazing. And there's like 1,000 of those. I couldn't even find the person when I tried to like
You went to scroll back
react.
through it. Yeah,
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is the best example of how it should be. Like, I'm so busy and helping people that I can't even freaking find you. And I don't know your name or your handle. And so it's done. Like, I can't even respond anymore because I forgot who they were within about a minute, So
yeah,
it's pretty cool. So it's interesting and also sad that like how to behave online is even a conversation, but it really is,
yeah.
these days. So then when it comes to your business, I just got someone in, I have a business coaching program where I help my peers develop online products and teach them how to launch it, and I love that whole world. So I'm not super good at it yet, but I've been doing it for 3 years. So I have a peer doctor student friend, and she just wrote to me today and she said, I said, hey, how are you all doing? Right? Because we're in a coaching program. I'm teaching them how to launch in the fall. And she goes, right now, I have 30 people signed up for my masterclass. My last one, I had 200. I just feel like, what's the point? No one's listening. Why do I even care? I'm going to fail anyways. How do you deal with that type of thing when you're in online business? Like, you personally, you have 30 signups, but your last one had 200.
Okay, so if I'm in her shoes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think part the first thing that comes to mind is my mindset training that I've undergone. The second part is the marketing side. Like, what can we do to fix the problem? But I think on the mindset side of things, we kind of touched on it. We were talking about criticism just a moment ago. But I think what people are looking for online, what really stops them in their tracks and will gain you not only followers, but really dedicated fans or tribe or whatever word you want to use. I think the thing is conviction. So it's like it's confidence, but it's also meaning. And you kind of blend those together. And it's not only something that shows up in your front facing marketing, like it shows up in your Instagram and it shows up in your posting and in your reels. but it's what is really like driving your own personal motivation and your ability to stick with it in the tough times, right? So like we go through a launch, we get crickets, no response of the type that we're looking for. It's like, do I have the conviction to stick with my what I want to share with the world, with my drive? Do I have the conviction to stick with this is what people need to learn, right? So there has to be this like tenacity of perseverance, like a bulldog that will not let go of that bone, no matter what. Like that's the conviction that drives us to push ourselves out into the world. Like you're putting something out in a sea of 7 billion people, right? Why should anybody listen to you?
Yeah.
If you don't have conviction, like there's no depth, there's no anchor point, right?
Mm.
So the conviction is what attracts people, but it's also what drives us forward. And then there's a little sprinkling of hope, I think, that's also necessary. So because self-doubt, insecurities, core beliefs that get in our way, those are real. We can't just pretend that they don't exist. So little sprinkling of hope, a little remembering like neuroscience allows things to change, but we're not fixed in place. But in our case, like we've had that experience before. We publish a master class and we get 8 signups when we're expecting over 100. And so we turned around and relaunched. Like we changed our messaging a little bit. Sometimes I have to take a step back from it and kind of create a little space. And when I went back to it in the case that I'm thinking about, what I recognized is the offer, and so therefore like the need we were trying to meet was too vague. It was undefined. It wasn't like for real people in the real world.
Mm.
Almost like I had said, I think this is what people need, but they're not aware of that, right? Like they're dealing with their problems. It's just like when we work with people who are in pain, right? They come in and they go, my shoulder hurts. I need someone to look at my shoulder. And, in the back of my head, I'm like, what you really need is somebody to look at your brain, like, or your visual system or your vestibular system or your liver. Like,
I was going to say liver.
so many
Yeah.
things that go into this right shoulder. But they're saying, I have a shoulder problem, you know? And so in our marketing, often if we don't align the message and the hook and the headline and the copy and everything with an actual problem that people need to solve, they're not going to spend their time or their money on something that's nebulous, vague, undefined. But I have to
Yeah, because
have,
they don't know what they're
yeah,
getting out of it. Because
exactly. Yeah, they don't know.
yeah.
It's a disconnect, right? So it usually takes me a little time and space to recognize that I made that mistake. Because at first I'm just too close to it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like really disappointed. It didn't do well. People didn't buy or didn't register. And it hurts my feelings. It hurts my ego. I have to have a little space. And then when I go back to it with fresh eyes, I was like, oh, we're offering this insight into neurology that nobody knows that they need. And they sure as heck don't know what to do with it. They don't know what problem it's actually going to help them solve. So there's no motivation for them to register. So we relaunched. We did a 48-hour spin, changed
Oh,
the
okay.
program, like changed the messaging, changed the headline, changed the title of the program, targeted it toward a very specific problem, and then registrations picked up. So
Okay, so you get these 8 signups, and do you tell them, "Hey, can you sit tight?"
no,
What do you do with
so
the 8?
I honored the commitment that the 8 made. I
Okay,
still delivered the workshop for the 8.
cool.
It was pre-planned. They were already
Yeah,
built, so
yeah,
I showed up on the Zoom call and I taught the workshop for the 8.
cool.
But all of this was leading toward mentorship
Yeah,
in our case, which is our high ticket offer. And so we have a deadline by which time the registration window closes, cart is going to close. And so we had about 2 weeks until that cart closed. And we were looking for this first workshop to be the big exploratory
Mm-hmm.
workshop, lead people to mentorship. So when that didn't work, inside of this 2 week window, we did a 48-hour flip on the marketing. We ran a 7-day launch for the new masterclass. We put
Okay.
100 people in that new masterclass, and then that still gave us
7 days
7 to 10 days before
to
cart
close cart.
close on
Cool.
mentorship. So we were able to convert people from the masterclass into the mentorship. So
Cool. Yeah.
basically what I'm saying is it was a scramble. We
Yeah.
were like, we
That's what
gotta,
you do.
yeah, like, because
You're
otherwise,
it's
what's the other option? You're just gonna lose out
you
on that
quit.
revenue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just quit. You're like,
yeah,
I suck at this. When really it's none of those things, you know? It's like if you don't fill a master class, right? It's not because you aren't an expert at what you do.
yeah,
It's the messaging's off. It is too vague. You're not speaking to anyone,
right,
right? Like if you say, if you're a human, you should come to this class. No one's coming.
yeah,
Like I always tell people the more specific, the better, right? Like
absolutely.
if you have an offer that's like how to lose 10 pounds, okay, you can sell that for $7. How to lose 10 pounds after your third kid. Okay, now we're at like 197.
Yeah,
How to lose 10 pounds after your third kid if you're vegan. Now we're like 497,
yeah,
right? And the more specific, you can crank this all the way up to $3,000 for the same freaking thing.
yeah,
Really, it's just
yeah,
a little massaging, but I, you know, because I words are hard for me. Like the way the it's like you have to go like this to go like that.
yeah.
And that is so hard for entrepreneurs to trust,
Yes, it
let
is.
alone understand, let alone understand. No, no
Yeah,
one's going to ever understand it, but the trust of it, I could say that to you 10 times and you'd be like, yeah, I know Missy said niche down, niche down, niche down, but it's too scary. I'm too good at too many things and I can help everybody.
yeah. That's what in this industry, especially, you have a
Yeah,
combination of people get into this industry because they want to help people, which means they're great with their skills of training and therapy and treatment, but they're
they're the
terrible.
best.
They're the best in the world at that, but they're terrible
Yeah,
marketers, right? Because they've never learned that.
yeah.
I hadn't learned it.
I didn't either. It's like you pay a lot of people a lot of money to
Yeah,
learn these things, you know?
absolutely. And then
And
the other side of that or combination is so they get into to help people. They're not marketers, they're service providers, right? They're healers or they're trainers. And then they often do, we often do connect the business performance with my personal value. Because usually when we start off, we're running the business like a solopreneur, and the
mhm,
business is a reflection of me.
yeah.
So it's really important to separate those two things and go, there's me over here, and then there's the business. And when the business doesn't perform, there was a messaging problem or a marketing problem or whatever. It wasn't a me problem. That's such a big lesson to share with people.
Yes, and it's a hard one. It's a hard pill to swallow, you
Yeah.
know. I work with a Facebook ads team and it's like we recap what happens, right? And it's like when I see numbers, it's like some make me like eye twitch,
Right.
matrix, you know, and then some
Yep.
I'm like, interesting, you know, and it's hard not to be like, it's all about me, whatever. But I have very much learned numbers are numbers.
Yeah.
And I hired this one coach and she always used to say this to me, Missy, math just has to math.
Right.
Because I had a
Yeah.
thing about numbers and like what I should charge. And oh my God. And she'd be like, math has to math.
Yeah. It's a
That's
numbers
it.
game.
You want to make this much? This is what we have to do leading up to that. This is how much time we need because math has to math. You can't be like, I want $1 million launch and do that in 3 months from the
Yeah.
time you said that. That's not
Yeah.
enough time. Like literally math doesn't math, you know? Um, and once I heard that, I said it enough times and heard enough times, I was like, math just, it just has to math. Like, how much time do we need? How many posts do I need to make? How many emails? Okay, 14 minus this. There's like it's all just math.
Yeah.
So it really helped me disconnect from the personal
Yeah.
side of things.
Yeah.
Is just you just have to execute the output necessary to hit the goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really it.
And I think this really applies to people who are just getting started in business too. Like maybe folks who took your mentorship or they've taken another class somewhere and they're like, I really want to coach in this area. I really want to do this, but they're having trouble even launching their business because
Mhm.
like I can't see myself working with someone else because I still have so many issues that I'm working on.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's not about you. Like there's people out there that need your help. They need the value of your experience. You only have to be one or two steps ahead of somebody on that same journey to be able to help them.
Absolutely.
And some of your best clients are going to be the people who are a reflection of where you were just 2 or 3 years ago. you know
Yeah.
like they're kind of your little mini me's of
Yeah.
you're like, oh wow, I was there, and they're like, yeah, that's what I'm going through right now. Like those are going to become your diehard clients and stick with you forever. But it's not like getting caught up on your own personal shortcomings and thinking you can't launch your business or you can't help people. Man, that's just a trap. Like the
Mhm.
world needs people who are willing to get their hands dirty and serve and help and share value. And whether
Yeah.
it's, neurology or hands-on practitioner or whatever, like get in there and serve people, and you'll actually learn more and grow more by doing that than by continuing to sit on the sideline and try to learn from online courses.
Yes. Oh my god, you could learn yourself to death and then you wake up and you're like 85 and you never formed the LLC. Like
Right.
don't watch another video, just freaking do it. you know, it's I was really young and this person that you and I both know, I'll tell you his name after, but he was like cuz I was like that. I was like, I don't want to talk about myself. Like, oh my god, I love my clients, and he was like, if you don't market yourself, you're hurting people.
Yeah.
And I was like, it took me like 3 years to understand what had just happened, right? He was like, if you don't learn how to market yourself, you're hurting people. And then a couple years later, it really resonated. And I was like, oh, what he meant was they're going to hire someone else, less qualified, not a great fit, whatever, whatever, right? I stay stuck in my head and I don't help people because I was scared to tell someone I have an offering.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it reminds me of Stephen Pressfield, the author who wrote the book The War of Art.
Yeah.
Amazing book for anyone who's a business owner.
Yeah.
One of the last chapters in the book, like each chapter is one little paragraph, one per page. One of the last ones in the book is like, your creative work is a gift to the world and the world needs it. He's like, don't cheat us of your contribution. Give us what you've got. Like the world will be worse off if you don't share your knowledge. Like get in there
Absolutely.
and
It
and
will be.
show
Yeah.
up, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
completely agree.
That's so awesome. Okay, so to wrap up, I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you were to write younger Matt a letter, what would the first line of this letter say?
The first line.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
Or you
like,
can say little bits of the letter, but like you're
yeah.
writing your younger self a letter. Like, what are you writing?
Um, I think the gist of it would be take action faster. Like I look back on my early adult life, going through university, the years just following, and like I was pretty reactive, like kind of floating through, just waiting to see what was going to happen. And even as I moved into my career, like there's certain places where I stayed a little longer. I don't mean like with a particular company, but like certain
Yeah.
stages of life that I stayed in longer than I should have. I think the gist of the letter would be act with more intention and act a little bit faster than you think you're ready for, because you're never going to be totally ready. But by taking action, it's going to cause you to become ready. Like you will figure it out. Only later in my career, I adopted this definition of confidence that it is my belief in my ability to figure things out. And so, like,
Yes.
I go into stuff now with a great deal of confidence, even when I'm not very competent. I don't have the skills, but I have the confidence that I'm going to be able to figure it out. And like, what created that in me, what built that over the years was taking action. So, to my younger self, I would say take action faster, act with intention, even if you're not ready, and you will develop into that person more quickly and more thoroughly than if you sit back and wait, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, hands down, like for sure. That's I like preach this stuff. I say to anyone I can, like, fail as fast as possible,
Yeah,
because if
exactly.
success is right here and you wait 4 years to fail and do all these things, success is 4 years away from you. If you just failed now, it would be there in like 4 weeks,
Yeah,
right? Or 4
absolutely.
months.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I'm
fail, learn
really
the
into.
lesson, move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's so funny. I forgot to tell you I do like 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah, no worries.
Here we are at an hour because that's just what happens. But
Love it. Love it.
so how can we find you if we have questions or want to get to know what you're all about,
Yeah,
connect with you?
absolutely. So on Instagram is easy. Find me at Next Level Neuro. Um, and then same website, nextlevelneuro.com. That's the easiest ways to get a hold of me. And I would love to chat, catch up, answer questions for anyone. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. So good to see you. All right, you have an awesome day. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, bye.